Park's bank getting robbed has been robbing me for 30 years.
How'd you manage to stay out of prison for a year?
It's been difficult.
Don't stand up!
These boys know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to raise a certain amount, that's my guess.
Let's go!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another recommended by you reviews. Today's film was recommended by Johnny K, who is a long-standing subscriber to the channel, contributes a lot to the comment sections, and he does join me when I do like gaming live streams quite a lot. And he made made a few suggestions, but one of the suggestions was the 2016 film Hell or High Water, a film that is directed by David Mackenzie, and it stars Jeff Bridges, Chris Pine, Ben Foster and Gil Birmingham. Now the film focuses on two brothers, Toby and Tanner, played by Chris Pine and Ben Foster. They essentially decide to go and rob a series of banks. And the reason they're doing this is they've recently lost their mother. The ranch that essentially has been left to them is absolutely piled full of debt. The bank took real advantage of their mother when she was sick. And they've decided they're not going to have it. So they essentially decide to rob the bank that has been robbing their mother for so long. So they go around, rob all these banks, and that draws the attention of the US Marshal, played by Jeff Bridges, and his partner, who essentially go on the hunt after them. Right. What are my thoughts on Hell or High Water? Well, honestly, guys, this is a film I've obviously been aware of. I know it's a well-respected film. It's been on my watch list probably for quite a while. I've just never got round or had chance to watch it until now. So many thanks for the suggestion, because it certainly made me prioritise it, if you like, which is the idea behind a lot of these recommended by you reviews. If someone kind of mentions a film that has kind of piqued my interest previously, or a film that I've certainly wanted to cover on the channel, that'll kind of give me the encouragement to review it, sort of thing. And I have to say, guys, I absolutely loved this film. What a fantastic film. I can't praise it really high enough. I just thought it was wonderful. Now, it's obviously, this won't be a surprise to you if you know anything about this film, or if you see the trailer or even look at the pictures. Essentially, it's a modern day Western, which, you know, is absolutely fine with me because I love Westerns. Now, initially, early on in the film, within the first 10 or 15 minutes of the film, I wasn't sure I was going to like it as much as I did, and the reason behind that is it goes straight into it, if you like, into like the bank robbing stuff. I wasn't keen on the characters, especially the Ben Foster character. And then Jeff Bridges is introduced. Now, Jeff Bridges, who isn't a fan of Jeff Bridges? The guy is an immense actor, one of America's finest, and he's just so wonderful. And then I was hoping when he spoke that he wasn't going to do that voice that he does all the time when he plays like Western characters, and he does. It's the same voice that he did in True Grit, and it's the same voice he did in R.I.P.D. It's just a different version of the voice. And I was and he does that thing with his jaw as well, when he's talking in this voice. And I was like, oh no, we're getting that Jeff Bridges again. But honestly, in my opinion, I think this is the best version of that Jeff Bridges that we get. So once I got over that little hurdle of the classic Western Jeff Bridges voice, I was on board with his character, and I love his character. I think it's one of my favourite Jeff Bridges performances ever. He plays this character who is a pain in the arse, really. I mean, he's constantly poking fun at his partner, who is... he keeps making fun of his ethnicity. And he gives as good as he gets, his partner, and they're at it all the time with each other. And it's just a wonderful relationship, and they're constantly at each other. And he's uncompromising, but there's also a gentle side to him. He's like, there's this gentle spirit because he's close to retirement and he's trying to come to terms with all that. It's such a wonderful character, beautifully played by Jeff Bridges. For me, the real highlight of the film. But that's not to take anything away here from Chris Pine and Ben Foster. Now, while I did say initially I wasn't keen on the characters, not so much Chris Pine's. I thought Chris Pine was pretty good initially. I kind of clicked with his character almost immediately. He's like the younger brother. He's the gentler character in some ways, and the Ben Foster character Tanner is the I think he's been in jail, and he's got violent tendencies and all this kind of stuff. I struggle to click with him, but the real power of this film is you go on a journey with these two characters, and when you learn why they're doing what they're doing, you're really on board with them. And for the majority of the runtime of the film, nobody's harmed. And then you get to a cut-off point in the film where a line is crossed and there's no way back, and it really gets very, very intense. It almost reminded me, the last half an hour of the film, something like that. It reminded me of Heat. You know, the Michael Mann film with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro? It was like a Western version of Heat in a lot of ways. Gun battles, trying to escape the law, gunfights in the streets. It was really good. It was like, I think if the payoff hadn't have been as good as it was the last half an hour, I might not have, because you really do leave this film on a real high. Because of the film's so well written, the script's amazing, the cinematography, the direction's brilliant, the acting's fantastic. There's nothing here to dislike, and then you're just kind of hoping it nails the landing, and it absolutely nailed the landing for me. The last 30 minutes was absolute class, and I was on the edge of my seat. It was shocking. There were a couple of shocking scenes where you're kind of like, oh no, that's not what happened, does it? And you're really on board. And at that point, you're really invested in the characters, not just the two brothers, but the Jeff Bridges and his partner's storyline. And you were just so invested in all of them. And by the end, it just had me hook, line, and sinker, this film. And I was really, really on board with what was happening. And I was really satisfied with the ending that we got as well. I thought it was really pitched perfectly. So I can't give you an awful lot of faults with this film. I just thought it was superb, and it's just a shame that I didn't see it sooner. But I was absolutely delighted with it. It was a really, really strong film for me. And if you haven't seen Hell or High Water, strongly recommend you check it out. I will be adding it to my Blu-ray collection with eagerness very, very soon. So thank you for the recommendation. Now, if you guys want to give me any recommendations, if you want to get a shout out on the video, get yourself some recommendations in the comments. I'm trying to save I'm saving as many as I can. Don't matter how many recommendations you give me. I'm not saying I'll get round to all of them, but I'll kind of cherry pick the ones that I really want to watch. And you will, of course, get a shout out on the review when I do it. So it's a way of involving you guys in the content on the channel as well. And I must say, I'm really enjoying these recommended by you reviews, because I'm discovering films certainly like this that I haven't seen before that I absolutely loved. So thanks for checking out the review, guys. I will, of course, be back with loads more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.